Hello, everyone, and welcome to Revolutionary Being. This is Kaya Marie, and this is my YouTube channel. I hope everyone out there is feeling absolutely delightful today. And if you're not feeling delightful, I invite you to settle into however it is that you are feeling, and remember that you are loved inside and out, thoroughly and completely, exactly as you are. So, today, I'm going to do this a little bit differently because the main feature of this video is a guided meditation designed by yours truly for accessing subtle entrainment with the Earth's organic frequencies through your own intuitive interface. It's a meditation that I've used almost since the very beginning of my entire meditation journey. And I first learned a variation of this technique from a Dan Brown book. Dan Brown is a wilderness survival tracker that also writes about the development of a natural connection we all have to the earth that can show up as intuition or instinct. At least that's what I gleaned from his work almost 25 years ago. Now, over the years, I've adapted this technique into what I call the extrasensory sense meditation, or the Clairsentience meditation. And I did this as my natural intuition grew into something that encompasses a lot more of the subtle realms as I experience them. So this video is in slideshow style, as you can see, and part one is a breakdown of what I call the intuitive interface and how it interacts with the greater fields, specifically Earth's fields through the Schumann resonance. So part two is going to be the guided meditation, and I will timestamp part one and part two in the description box for you. So firstly, let's talk a little bit about subtle entrainment between the human and earth. Both the human and earth have many different kinds of subtle fields, fields that give off and conduct certain types of frequencies. And you can think of frequency as a type of pulse. Different frequencies have a different number of vibrations per unit of time. Waves have frequencies, and waves create fields. So fields can actually contain a different number of frequencies too as well, I think. It just so happens that there are certain frequencies in certain types of Earth's fields that the human brain and nervous system entrains to that supports a beneficial relationship and also affects the evolution of human consciousness. So to keep this kind of simple today, we're going to talk about one of those frequencies mainly, and this is the Schumann resonance. As I'll be going into more detail from different angles of this topic in subsequent videos. Now, the Schumann resonance is sometimes referred to as the Earth's heartbeat, or even the Om. The Om is actually meant to be or supposed to be the underlying frequency of the entire cosmos, I believe, but some people do think of the Earth's underlying vibration and frequency as the Om. So according to Wikipedia, Schumann resonances are global electromagnetic resonances excited by lightning discharges in the cavity formed by the Earth's surface, or the Earth's crust, and the ionosphere. Currently, we are experiencing drastic shifts and spikes in the Schumann resonance. And this is meant, I believe, to accelerate the evolution of human consciousness. But it's also just a natural part of the cosmic cycle. for Earth and even the Sun to experience geomagnetic shifts from time to time. And these shifts coincide with cycles for humanity. And we're going to talk in future videos more about the energy shifts taking place on the planet, both natural and man-made. But in this video, we'll focus more on the baseline frequency that we've traditionally entrained to. So the Schumann resonance pulses at 7.83 hertz at its baseline, which is the same frequency to have been found in the main control centers of the brain, namely the hypothalamus, which is implicated in the limbic system that I mentioned in my last video. Now, one of the most important functions of the hypothalamus is to link the nervous system to the endocrine system via the pituitary gland. And remember that part of our intuitive interface is where the subtle energy systems, as the chakras, our subtle bodies and our energy channels, interface with the nervous and neuroendocrine systems. So this to me would suggest that practicing subtle entrainment with the Schumann resonance would help to activate and regulate this interface through the hypothalamus, and specifically through the master gland, the pituitary gland, which is the crown chakra gland, I believe, which creates a window into the visionary aspects of the subtle realms in tandem with the pineal gland. So the pituitary gland and the pineal gland, between the crown chakra and the sixth chakra, third eye chakra, create sort of a synergy that becomes a window into seeing into the subtle realms. It has been found that certain elements found in the Earth's crust, which create geomagnetic fields, are also found in human red blood cells. And similar elements are found within our cells, our glands, and the waters of the body. Now, there are also liquid crystalline structures to be found in our fascia or our connective tissue. And it seems that the nadis or meridians, the subtle energy channels in the body, flow through this crystalline structure, carrying information to other structures through less conductive tissues, because some of our tissues have a higher conductivity through this crystalline structure than others. So this crystalline structure acts as the meridians and the channels within it act as a conductive interface between the chakra system and the nervous and neuroendocrine systems. So it is a sort of crystalline body interface that transmits signals from the subtler energy realms to the physical systems. And when one becomes extrasensory through feeling in the body, or clairsentient, it gets very easy to feel energy as it flows around the body in this way. And it becomes increasingly easy to feel the field directly as waveforms move through the subtle bodies in the body. And this is sort of the interface I'm attempting to map out for you here. Now, the limbic system is the emotional brain, and it is located between the even more primal survival brain or reptilian brain and the higher functioning part of the brain, the neocortex. And like I said, I mentioned in my last video the limbic system. And one of the things I talked about is that when healing precognitive or past life trauma, the pathways can be through this limbic system. And this limbic system as well as the more primal survival brain, also serves as a function for processing internal sensory information. Internal sensory information that can come through our more subtle intuitive interface. The neocortex, however, is a fairly new evolutionary function of our nervous system, and therefore much direct subtle information through instinct and intuition is accessed through the more primal brain pathways. The neocortex, in this process that I'm describing here, functions as the higher brain through staying alert and in a state of observation rather than analysis. In this way, the intellect will be able to process the subtle information once one comes out of the meditation, after it has been accessed by feeling it fully first. So, in order to traverse these realms, we must come into a state of feeling first, direct feeling, and then processing and analyzing later through the intellect. So the intellect takes a back seat while you're in the meditation, but it does not become passive. It remains alert and observational. And this is because direct, subtle signals can't be read through habitual brain pathways in the higher thought centers, through regular memory pathways. They need to be directly accessed through this primal network, through the intuitive interface in the body. So the pathways into this intuitive interface, in my experience, are through this limbic system. And the earth works through subtle entrainment with this aspect of the brain and nervous system. The Schumann waves, when tuned to consciously, can entrain the brain into a high theta brainwave state, which supports deep healing, direct subtle awareness, astral travel, and even an ability to know from within that which has not been learned by the intellect yet. Now, on another note here, the morphogenetic fields I've also talked a little bit about from Rupert Sheldrake's work. Fields that carry collective human memory can also be consciously accessed, I believe, through this pathway, through subtle entrainment. We'll go into more detail in coming videos, hopefully, as to some of the other fields and how we interface with them. So anyway, this high theta brainwave state through subtle entrainment and this ability to travel into the subtle realms through the more primal pathways are partly a practice of getting yourself into a parasympathetic state. And all this really means is that you must become completely relaxed in the nervous system without falling asleep. So the high theta brainwave state is a nervous system parasympathetic state that tunes the human to these healing frequencies. Once this state is achieved, a sort of clairsentience may take place through the subtle anatomy, through the second, fourth, and sixth chakras, through the crystalline body, through the nervous and neuroendocrine systems, as gut instinct and intuition. So let's talk a little bit about gut instinct as a form of clairsentience. And first of all, what is clairsentience? Clairsentience to me means clear feeling. It is when psychic information comes to us via feeling or sensing subtle energies around us. People who are clairsentient can sense past what is physically there and pick up the underlying energies through their own inner circuitry. It often takes the shape of a gut feeling that can be formed about a person, place, or situation. Clairsentience is direct knowing through sensing. It is different than clairvoyance in that the psychic information actually moves through one's inner circuitry as feeling versus just mental or visionary information. Clairvoyance is a form of direct insight through the pineal pituitary portal. And while in the case of clairsentience, this portal is used through interoception to access the field through the intuitive interface in the body, in the case of clairvoyance, one does not necessarily run this incoming information through their own inner circuitry in the body. It comes as direct insight in the mind. So oftentimes, empathy turns into sort of an extrasensory feeling tool and turns into a sort of clairsentience. So coming back to the gut here, the gut or the lower belly is indicated as a center of consciousness in many traditions, including Hawaiian philosophy and Taoism. It is also one of the 3 bandha centers in yoga that serve as energy channeling mechanisms in the body. The space between the lower belly and the diaphragm right below the heart is an insanely active space energetically. The gut contains what is called the enteric nervous system, often referred to as the second brain. It contains 100 some odd million nerve cells and is responsible for the creation and regulation of many biochemicals important for the endocrine system. It exchanges these biochemicals bidirectionally with the brain through the gut-brain axis. So which aspect of the brain do you think is part of this axis? The hypothalamus. The hypothalamus that we talked about in the beginning that is implicated in the limbic system and also subtle entrainment with Earth's Schumann resonances. Now, this gut brain is right over the second chakra, the chakra of feeling, and the chakra of repressed emotion and often the unconscious mind. And a little side note here that accessing extrasensory information, subtle information, and direct knowing through, as I've been outlining, the theta and parasympathetic states, opens one's higher mind to the unconscious layers of the mind, where this type of information is stored and processed. We are actually connected to the greater mind and field through this unconscious mind, which can be accessed through deep meditation. This is why this second, third, fourth chakra points and pathways are one important aspect of the intuitive interface. So let's talk now about clairsentience as intuition through the heart and the heart as a bridge. So the heart not only serves as a portal for intuition on its own, but also serves as a bridge between the lower chakra systems and the higher chakra systems, the body and the brain, as well as the lower functions of the mind or the unconscious mind and the higher functions of the mind or the conscious mind. It's the heart that harmonizes left brain and right brain hemispheres. What this means is that through the heart center, one can bridge the second chakra information that comes in through the field with the visionary portal of the third eye and crown. It's through the heart that the alchemical processes are brought into a coherent, organized intelligence for us. The heart harmonizes masculine with feminine. This is where the masculine and feminine meet. And the heart becomes a spiritual control center for healing and spiritual development. The heart also has a much larger field than the brain, and it transmits many signals to the brain, working as a sort of synchronization and harmonization mechanism for the entire body. The heart is a critical energetic component in subtle entrainment with Earth's fields. In my experience, the heart, or fourth chakra, is the center of intuition, which has a different feel to it than the direct instinct that comes through the belly or second chakra. But when used in a certain way, it can still be a form of clairsentience, I believe, because you can feel into the energies in the field with the heart as well. In any case, it is the coherent harmony between the second, fourth, and sixth chakras that creates a sort of extrasensory window into the subtle realms. Exploring the sensations in the body as they flow between the belly and the heart, in tandem with an open attention with your natural surroundings, will awaken your connection to your intuitive interface as it interacts with the greater fields. Moving into the meditation section of this video, and I call this the Clairsentience meditation or the extrasensory sense meditation. And originally, when I learned this, like I said, from Dan Brown book, it was called the sense meditation. But since then, I've adapted it quite a lot and included some steps that hopefully nurture a window more into the subtle realms through our subtle anatomy. So you're going to want to find a comfortable place in nature, somewhere quiet and safe, perhaps somewhere where there is flowing water or dancing trees. Perhaps the breeze is blowing gently in perfect unison with the flickering of sunlight across the water or the rustling of leaves on the trees. And find a comfortable place to sit or lie down on a rock or the soil or the grass. And just be sure that whether you sit or lie down, that your body has contact with the earth below you. And spend a few moments coming into a relaxed state of being. Come gently into an inner knowing that the natural world around you contains intuitive wisdom that you are interconnected with from within. Set the body up so that it is relaxed, watching the breath for a few moments to bring the mind into the present. Do a quick internal body scan, making adjustments to allow the body to settle completely. And for this meditation, you're going to keep your eyes open. Or alternatively, you can switch from open to closed from time to time to check in with both internal and external sensation. So, starting with the eyes open, soften your focus so that you can take in the entire landscape before you. Allow the light in your surroundings to enter the eyes, keeping the eyes relaxed and the eyelids soft. And attune your inner eye through this quality of light. Now move your awareness to your ears and practice the same. Soften the focus in the ears so that you can hear all the sounds around you. Perhaps it's the singing of the birds or the rustling of the leaves. Now gently move your awareness to your skin. And allow yourself to feel whatever sensations are there. Perhaps a cool breeze or the warm sun. Allow yourself to feel this sensation without becoming completely absorbed in it. Now take a deep, conscious breath in through the nose and notice what you smell. And then exhaling completely, release any residual tension in the body and mind. And on your next deep, conscious breath, notice the quality of the air as it passes through the nostrils and into the lungs. Again, exhaling and releasing any residual tension. Now see if you can open your attention through all of these senses at once. Taking in your surroundings through all of your senses with an open, receptive, expanded, awareness. Perhaps there is an underlying synchrony that can be attuned to. While maintaining this state as much as is possible for you, move your inner felt sense awareness through the heart center. Checking in with your central core. Take a deep breath and notice what you feel. If you cannot feel your core, then rest at the heart and notice what sensations arise. Now gently moving your awareness back out through the heart center, keeping the senses alert, open, and receptive in a soft focus. Settle your inner felt sense again on the lower belly, moving into your central core through the second chakra. Take another deep breath, noticing what you feel. And again, if you cannot feel your core at the second chakra level, just rest at the belly surface and notice what sensations you feel. And now bringing the attention back out through the second chakra. Check in with the outer senses again with that soft, receptive focus. Now bring your attention to the earth below you. And feel the contact between your body and the earth. See if you can melt into Earth's surface. Breathing slowly and deeply. And now gently coming back to the senses, one by one. To the sense of smell on your next inhalation. To the skin. To the sounds in the ears. To the eyes. And now gently return your awareness back to your breath. And when you're ready to come out of the meditation, spend some time journaling about what you experienced. And so this concludes this video on subtle entrainment. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week for more explorations into the nature of reality and our special place within that. Love yous.